Shabbat Shalom, and welcome everyone to our Shabbat celebration. It's great to be here with you. I know that if you live here, you didn't have to come to services here tonight. Most people are AWOL, wandering around doing various activities. We appreciate your deciding to come and join with us. Thank you so much. If you're watching out in cyberspace, then you have literally thousands of other services that you could have joined with. And we thank you very much for choosing ours. It's a great privilege to be here with you to bring in the Shabbat. These are very auspicious times. Jewish values, Jewish ideals, hope, inspiration are more important tonight than they've been in a very, very long time. Democracy itself is in the balance. The forces of light and darkness are waging war. President Zelensky said, "We are fighting against darkness. We are fighting for the light." And here on Shabbat, we light the lights of Shabbat. And so we welcome you. And we're going to begin with a song that says how wonderful it is to be together in multiple languages, because we like being with people not just who are like us, but people who might speak a different language or have a different religion or be part of a different race. La 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 la. Ine matolu manahayim. La 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 la. Ine matolu manahayim. Shevet achim yachad. Agradable es y maravilloso celebrar con hermanos juntos. Qué merveilleux et magnifique célébrer le Shabbat ensemble. And now, in search of peace in this world, we begin this service with Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
My friends, we are here to celebrate Shabbat in a rather unusual fashion. We're actually going to use reason and common sense to guide us in our celebration of Jewish values and Jewish ideals. Imagine that. It was Einstein who said that science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. We have seen all too often throughout history how blindness has caused people to do despicable things. In the conflict today in Russia, the Russian Orthodox Church is 100% backing Putin and spreading his murderous lies, convincing the people to go and die, to unite Ukraine with Russia, because that's what their religion tells them that they should do. And so we turn our thoughts to Russia, to a great author named Fyodor Dostoevsky, who wrote The Brothers Karamazov. And he said this in this tale: "The holy man is he who takes your soul and will and makes them his. When you choose your holy man, you surrender your will. You give it to him in utter submission, in full renunciation. The word Islam actually means submission. Here we submit to no one other than to our own sense of reason. You do not have to give up your common sense when you walk through the door. In fact, we cherish this incredible mind, this rational mind that we've been given. We submit that mind to no one, and we seek to use our mind as much as possible in order to figure out how to create a better world. That's what we're doing here tonight, and we welcome you to join us in this effort. In order to help symbolically bring a little light to the world, we called up Carol and Herb Zaretsky to lead us in the lighting of the candles. While they're coming up here, I will just share with you that we have 2 candles here. Some people ask, why 2 candles? Why not 3 or 4 or 1? They symbolize the light of love and the light of reason. Together, they shine brightly, and we need both of them. Also reflected in the 2 goals of Judaism, Emet, Tzedek. Emet is truth or reason, and Tzedek is love or righteousness.
Go ahead and pick up the microphone.
Let us welcome Shabbat and give thanks for its light. May our homes shine with the lights of Shabbat, and our hearts glow with Shabbat joy this week and every week. We welcome Shabbat and give thanks for its light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Herb, you have anything you want to say? You didn't say too much.
Well, I'm just backing up right now.
It's a good husband, backing up his wife here for moral support. Thank you very much for joining us
Thank you.
and for lighting the candles. You're free. You can go now. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Now the candles remind us of the light of reason and the light of love. Now we have the wine, which celebrates the fact that this is a material object, but when you imbibe it, it produces a spiritual result. It makes you feel joyous. And we too are physical, but we also have the ability to spread cheer and sweetness in our lives, which is symbolized by the sweet wine.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'riach hapen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shamat kadeshah, Yahavo Ratzon Ilano, Zikavro Emase Reishti, Ki Hu Yom Tehila, LaMikro HaKodesh, זכר לציון מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, יומנו קידשת, מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך, מאהבה וברצון, התחתנו. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. Take a little of the sweet wine, and if you stick around for the whole service, you get to have some wine too. We got at the table there for the Oneg Shabbat. I think that's the first time I've ever sung the Kiddush accompanied by the guitar. Very nice. Thank you very much. Carol knows how to just fit right in and figure out where my key is. I have no idea how to do it, but I'm glad she does. All right, now we're going to continue with Let There Be Love. Noah Aronson was kind enough to let us sing his song.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love, sing with me, and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
I want you to imagine that you're living a few thousand years ago. Somebody gets sick, you have no idea why. You notice other people around that person getting sick, and you still don't know why, but you're really, really scared. And you figure somebody out there is out to get us. He's probably mad and we probably did something wrong. So we better apologize or atone. Next day, something good happens. The crops yield their harvest. You want to give thanks. You don't know how it happened, but you figure there's somebody up there who's really powerful, who's making all these miracles happen. And then you just have hope. Hope that tomorrow will be better. But you're not sure how to make it happen because everything is beyond your control. So our ancestors came up with a cosmic deity so they get a cosmic perspective to try to see things from a God's eye view. Today,
We seek the same thing. We seek to give thanks. We seek to try to understand. We seek to understand our place in the universe. But rather than imagine a supernatural being in cosmic Judaism, we use reason and science and the revelations to provide in order to see the miracles of life, in order to understand why bad things happen, and in order to join together with other like-minded people to try to make things better. So we still have the same goals, the same fears, the same ambitions, the same hopes, but armed with reason and intelligence and Jewish ideals, we can make things happen that our ancestors could have only dreamed of. So in this light, we say the same prayers as thousands of years ago, with a slightly new and better and improved understanding, but still getting out from under our own narrow view, seeking a cosmic perspective about life and our dreams. May the door of this community be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for fellowship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, things to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this community be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and hostility. If you can see up on that screen, we read together in the bold, may its threshold be a gateway to shared feelings, healing memories, rekindled dreams. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May this community be, for all who enter, a doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Giving thanks for the miracles of life, we continue with the Baruch.
Stand in mind or body.
Blessed is the grace that crowns the sky with stars and keeps the planets on their ways. Together,
The law that turns our night to day and fills the eye with light. The law that keeps us whole and day by day sustains us.
we continue with Yotzer or
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam. Yotzer Oseh shalom, u're'at hakol, Yotzer u're'at Hashem, Ohadai olam, u're'at hakol, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech
we continue with the watchword of the Jewish faith, the Shema, in which we seek unity in this world.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Shekevod, Shekevod, Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shekevod, Shekevod, Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'divartam bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shofbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam la'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafo ben einecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'yisharecha Leman tizkeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem gidoshim l'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lechem l'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
It's a pleasure for me to be here with the beautiful singing of Cantor Garrett, with the technical expertise of her granddaughter, Madison, and also with Sharon operating the controls and broadcasting this far and wide throughout cyberspace. We're now going to continue with another responsive reading. Sing the song of men and women, join in understanding, respect.
The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished.
A gift of our children and the generations to come.
The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, I wish.
For soldiers home to leave no more.
The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
We continue with the Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha be'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot oseh feleh, nora tehilot oseh feleh. Malchutecha Rabu vanecha, bokei hayam, lifnei Moshe, zeri, anu ve'amru, Adonai imlo, Adonai imlo, leolam va'ed.
Now continue with the Avot, the Imahot. We give thanks for being human. Some animals eat their young. Our parents treat us a little better than that. And many of us were blessed with wonderful parents. We give thanks for their love, their guidance, their continued support, even if they're not here physically, for grandparents, and for ancestors who brought us this amazing heritage that we enjoy today. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor, v'Hanova, El Elyon, Omel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה, הקדוש ושמך הקדוש וקדושים בכל יום, יעלוך הסלם. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Guess that means the silent meditation is over. Now we're going to read the list of those who are ailing in hopes for a refuah shlema, speedy restoration and good health. Michelle Bernstein, Robert Bluttinger, Huey Cohen, Bruce David, Teresa DeRoches, Bob Druce, Donna Field, Laura Levy, Laura Gallagher, Richard Glass, Sherry Glass, Steve Adler Golden, Renee Golub, Arthur Hoffman, Carol Kramer, Dr. Sudhir Nair, Linda Pruskin, Eileen Silverman, and Fred Spielhoff. Anybody else want to share some names with us?
Christian Leon, William Islam, and Bruce.
We hope the healing power that helped our ancestors get through some tough times will also be operative in the lives of all of those who are ailing, so that the result will be a refuah shlema.
Mishabera Avotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Mishabera Avotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel. May the source that blessed our mothers, may the source that blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of healing. Bless us with the power of hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of our love. Bless us with the visions for tomorrow. Help us reach out to those in pain. May the friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mishabera Avotenu, Mishabera Avotenu. Hear our prayer, 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 hear our prayer. Mishaberach, I don't know if you've heard before, by Lisa Levine. It's a very old piece, but it isn't sung very often, so.
That's a great melody. I always enjoy hearing Cantor Garrett's various versions of songs, and that's really a beautiful one. We're going to begin now the Torah service, and we have once again responsive reading. This is a test to see, A, if you're still awake, and B, how good your eyesight is to see if you can see up on that screen there. So we read responsively, and this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now.
Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope.
Freedom is his gift to all who treasure it. Now we have the blessing before the reading of the Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Adonai habarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
All right, we got a really fascinating Torah reading tonight. You're going to get a chance to see why the Bible is one of the best-selling books ever. It's got all types of excitement, drama, sex, and in this case, violence. We're reading a passage from the Sedra called Shmini. Shmini means the eighth because it describes things that are happening on the eighth day. Vayikachu b'nei Aharon Nadav v'Avihu ish mitachto v'yitnu b'hen ish. And the children of Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, came forward, and they had fire in these fire pans. People would bring fire and place that before the altar in these fire pans. And they approached the altar, which they believed contained the presence of God. Esh zochah asher lo tziva otam. Unfortunately for them, there was some weird, strange fire in their fire pans, which God did not command. And fire came out from the Lord and consumed them. And they died. They died before God. Hu asher diber Adonai lemor. B'chlivo akadesh v'al panai chol ha'am achabed v'yadom Aharon. Moses took this rather stoically. He saw some lesson here, and I don't think he was very consoling to Aaron. His sons had just been burnt to a crisp. He said to them, I guess that's what God means when he says that he will make himself known to those who are close to him. And Aaron, for his part, said nothing. It's kind of reminiscent of the great Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, who said when we suffer a loss and someone precious dies, first we're stunned in silence, then we shed tears, then we break out into song, singing the song of our loved one's life. And so here Aaron is still in the silent mode. Mishael ve'el Elatzav b'nei Uziel dor Aharon vayomer lehem mervu su'u et achechem me'et pnei ha'makdesh. Moses called some of the others to come forward and to remove these people from the surroundings and take them outside of the camp. The blessing after the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Well, friends, this is, of course, a rather interesting passage. which I will speak about a little bit, but first I want to share a story with you that took place decades ago. Before all the conflict and the turmoil, a census taker came by and visited someone who was living right on the border of Ukraine and Russia. And the census taker said to the man, "You're right on the border of these two countries. You must decide, where do you want to live? Do you want to be a citizen of Russia or Ukraine?" Man thought about it for a little bit. He says, "I'm going with Ukraine." I said, "Why did you choose Ukraine?" He said, "I heard those winters are terrible in Russia." My friends, not all of us get a chance to choose where we want to live. It should be a basic right that you can choose your nationality. Unfortunately, today, it is not. Today, a country's nationality is trying to be taken from them by brute force. And the people of Ukraine, led by a great Jewish hero, Zelensky, are saying, we will not capitulate, we will not submit. How is it possible that humanity gets to this stage? We're living in this age, 2022, where we put a man on the moon. It was over 50 years ago, and we're still involved in these primitive, barbaric wars of conquest. How is it possible that we have failed to evolve? Well, I think you can find the answer perhaps in the Torah reading, and perhaps we can also find the solution. In the Torah reading, we hearken back to a time where people viewed God as exceptionally capricious. If you approached him in the wrong way or with strange fire, you would be zapped and executed on the spot, and nobody complained. Nobody dared to question God's judgment because they didn't want to be next. Moses just said, "Hey, I guess that's the way it is," and he didn't challenge God. Now, on other occasions, Moses did challenge God, and Abraham did challenge God. There are other inklings in the Torah when they had more gumption. But this reflects a mindset of just accepting capricious rule without question. The Haftarah reading is very interesting because the Haftarah reading dovetails with this. What is the Haftarah? It's not a half a Torah. Haftarah means the explanation, the extrapolation. So we have 5 books of Moses called the Torah. Then we have books called Nevi'im, the prophets. Now we have books called the writings, Ketuvim. Put them together, Torah, Nevi'im. Ketuvim, it spells Tanakh, which is another way for the entire Jewish Bible. These readings, the Haftarah, come from the Tanakh, the prophets and the writings. How does this dovetail? Well, there's a fascinating story in the book of Samuel, which is the Haftarah, and it involves also a very, very capricious God who has very peculiar rules. And if you violate any of them, watch out, even in the most trivial way. So the Jewish people went out to battle, but they had forgotten to bring the Ark of the Covenant, which supposedly had the 10 Commandments with them. And because of that, they lost the battle with the Philistines. And so the Jews thought, this is really bad. And they remembered, oh yeah, that's right. We forgot the Ark. So they brought the Ark with them this time. They brought it into battle. But, the 613 commandments, they forgot how to carry the Ark. Oh my gosh. Because the Ark was so holy that you couldn't touch it. So they had these holes through rings, and these people carried the Ark. But instead, they forgot all that. They just took the Ark and put it on some oxen carried it. Because they did the wrong thing, God zapped them again. They lost the battle, and this time they lost the Ark. The Philistines captured the Holy Ark. Now the Jews were really in trouble. But what they didn't realize is that God didn't care for the Philistines either having the ark. So wherever the ark went, there were plagues all over the place. And they tried to move the ark in different places, and there were plagues. Finally, the Philistine god, who is called Dagon, Dog means fish in Hebrew. Dagon had the head of a fish and the tail of a fish and the head of a human being. One day, they found the god of the Philippines, and he had fallen down right underneath the ark where the Jewish god was, as if he was bowing down to him. So they put him back up. The next day, he falls down again, and they realize, oh my gosh, he's bowing down to the Jewish god. So they sent the Jewish god back to Israel. And then there were a lot of different things that happened. But lo and behold, I'll skip all the gory details, but they had problems there too, because they didn't do it the right way. And then David was having this big celebration because he just won the war and they had the ark back and they were really happy. But they forgot again, some people carried the ark the wrong way. And another guy died on the spot because the ox were carrying it. So it's the Haftorah dovetails with the Torah because it's the same type of thing. My friends, I'm glad to say that we, at L'Dor Va-Dor at least, and cosmic Judaism, as well as Reform and Reconstructionists, we've moved beyond that. And so this reminds us of where we were and shows us how far we've come and how far we can go. But there is a passage in the Haftorah that I want to share with you that I think is very significant, because David, before this guy's name was Uzzah, before Uzzah died for touching the ark, actually the ark has fallen from its perch because the oxen were carrying it, and he tried to save it, so he touched it to save it from falling on the ground, and because of that, he was killed. Anyway, before that happened, David is rejoicing. And he's rejoicing and he's going wild. He's dancing and he strips off his royal garb. He's wearing this very casual attire. And his wife gets really mad. His wife, Michal, is the wife or the daughter of King Saul. So she was raised with royalty and she's used to royalty. And she chastises David. She says to David, you should be ashamed of yourself. You are the king of Israel. And there you are, dancing like a lunatic in crazy clothes. You don't act like a king at all. You made a fool of yourself. David says to Michal, I wasn't praying to these people. I was praying to God. I don't care how I look to these people. I care how I'm viewed by the Almighty. And I was rejoicing. And I was expressing my joy. My friends, what that's trying to tell us is we might not have the same concept that he does of a supernatural being. What it was trying to tell us is the trappings that we normally do. We wear certain clothes, we do certain things, we worship in a certain way, and we're ashamed if we don't look the part. What the Haftorah is trying to tell us is don't get trapped up in all of that. That's not what's important. What's important is a feeling of gratitude, of rejoicing, of holiness, of sanctity that you feel, and you can express that in any way. We come here to plug in and remind it, but when you walk out of here, or even here itself, if you want to dance, if you want to rejoice, if you want to do something silly, if you want to go and spend time with nature, or hug your kids, or pet your dog, or go out and do something to help, or show up at a rally for Ukraine and stand in solidarity. Don't worry about what you're wearing or how you sound. What you should worry about is, what do you feel inside? That's what really matters.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כיי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
יסגדל ויסקדש שמי רבה, ויעמד יברח רוסה וימליך מחוסה, וחייכון ויומכון וחיידו כל בית ישראל, ועגלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עולמיה, יסבורך ויסתבח ויספואר ויסרומם ויסנעשה, ויסהדר ויסהלב ויסהלב שמי לקדושה ברכו. לעולם מן כל ברכסה ושירסה, תשבחסה ונחמסה, תעמיכון ביומה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה וחיים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו amen. May the source of peace and comfort bring peace and comfort to all who mourn, and may we be that source of peace and comfort for others. And let us say, Amen.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Just imagine all the living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us.